Hello, you're on Pablo Spot. I'm George. Welcome to a new episode on this series on setting up load balancer infrastructure. And today, I will be implementing a simple way of ensuring a safe and secure load balancer setup. And so if this series and the content of this channel lines up with your interests, hit the subscribe button and join me in this journey of learning by doing. So, let's start coding. Let's quickly review what I did previously. I have set up a load balancer to run a simple redirect to google.com. Let me head to my VS Code terminal. Like I mentioned last time, I have destroyed the infrastructure after completing the code to cut down on cost, which is why I have to rerun my Terraform commands to reinstate my resources. This load balancer is also set up with multiple subnets to ensure redundancy, and to verify that this is the case, if I ping the load balancer public DNS several times, I should get different public IP addresses. So let's have a look. And as you can see, I get two different IP addresses on my ping commands. I should be getting three different IP addresses in the background since I have set this up to use three different availability zones. I also set up a simple redirect to google.com through my load balancer, which we saw previously when I attempted to access my load balancer public DNS directly on my browser. I did this setup on purpose to highlight a security flaw. Because my load balancer is publicly accessible, anyone from the internet can access it. It is therefore vulnerable to denial of service attack. My current setup will always resolve a web request to a good response with status code 200 since I'm simply redirecting the page to google.com. It also allows a hacker to bombard web requests to my website to either sniff for any potential loopholes on my system or just brute force attack the entire system. Let's look at an example. If I open my browser and attempt to access a non-existent route inside my load balancer public DNS, notice that although the route does not exist, my browser still gets redirected to google.com, which then means I'm looking for this non-existent route inside Google. This does not look right. What can I do about this? So let me go back to my code. And if I open my main.tf and head down to the section for my load balancer listener resource, the default action that I have set up for my listener is to do the actual redirection of the web request. And this is what I'm going to change. Default action is the catch-all action on a load balancer. And one of many ways of implementing a safe and secure load balancer is to set the default action to reject web requests by default. And so I am going to replace the contents of the default action block and instead of a redirect, I will change the type of this default action to a fixed response. And then add the fixed response block. And then inside this block, I will add a property called content type. And then set this to application JSON. And then set a status code and set this to 401 and a message body and set this to unauthorized. And now let me head to my VS Code terminal and prepare my session to update my infrastructure, starting with exporting the TF workspace environment variable. And then set my AWS credentials using AWS Vault. And then I'll start running Terraform init. And then run Terraform plan. And then Terraform apply to update my actual infrastructure. And now let me switch to my browser and attempt to access the public DNS of my load balancer. And now I'm getting a 401 response code, which is what I expected. And if I try to access a non-existent endpoint, I'm still getting an unauthorized response from my load balancer. And that's all I have for today. On the next episode, I will reinstate the redirection and implement request forwarding on my load balancer, so I hope you stay tuned. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments below and send me some likes if you find this useful. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like the content on this channel. Until next time, keep learning and stay safe. See ya.